Liverpool, one of the greatest teams in England. And today, these 5 AIs will choose the best 11 in the club's history. There are some very controversial picks in almost every position, but what surprised me the most were the substitutes. So let's get into the video. Let's start with the man who will manage the team. And for every AI, the answer was obvious: Bob Paisley. We're talking about the most successful manager in Liverpool's entire history. He won 3 European Cups and dominated English football for years. His management was brilliant. He knew how to handle the dressing room, understand each player, and adapt his tactics without ever losing the club's identity. He took the foundation that Shankly had built and carried it to the top of Europe. With him, Liverpool's greatness became a habit, a well-deserved spot as the architect of this legendary team. Let's move on to the goalkeeper. Grok voted for Ray Clemence, and honestly, it's hard to argue with that. Clemence is considered by many to be the greatest goalkeeper in Liverpool's entire history. Between 1967 and 1981, he played 665 matches and kept 335 clean sheets. Absolutely insane numbers. He was agile, had incredible reflexes, and read the game so well that he always seemed one step ahead. And while Bruce Grobbelaar also has his place in Liverpool's legacy, Clemence surpasses him in every aspect: longevity, stats, and consistency. But here's the twist: Lechat disagreed. His vote went to Bruce Grobbelaar, and he had his reasons. Not only was Grobbelaar the most decorated goalkeeper in Liverpool's history, but also one of the most iconic. He became the face of the glorious 1980s, when Liverpool ruled both England and Europe. He won 6 league titles, 3 European Cups, and 1 FA Cup. His legacy is massive. He was a true leader in the locker room, a complete showman, and a natural-born winner, capable of changing a match with his reflexes, or simply with his unstoppable personality. In the end, the other AIs sided with Grok. They also voted for Ray Clemence. He takes the spot as the goalkeeper in this historic Liverpool 11. We move on to the right-back position, and the first to speak up was ChatGPT. It chose Phil Neal, and rightly so. Neal is the most successful and consistent right-back Liverpool has ever had. He won 4 European Cups, 1 UEFA Cup, and a pile of domestic titles. But his importance went far beyond the trophies. He was tireless up and down the flank, rock solid defensively, and dangerous whenever he pushed forward. On top of that, he had nerves of steel. Proven in several European finals where he was the one taking the penalties. For over a decade, he was the very definition of reliability. But once again, Lechat took a different path. His vote went to Trent Alexander-Arnold, and honestly, it's a choice that makes a lot of sense. Trent represents the modern fullback in its purest form. Since his debut, he's shown an incredible ability to read the game, deliver assists like a midfielder, and show up in decisive moments. He was key in Liverpool's 2019 Champions League triumph and their 2020 Premier League title. With over 50 career assists, Trent isn't just a right back. He's a playmaker, a symbol of Klopp's Liverpool, and a player who's redefined his position. And once again, the other AIs didn't agree with Lechat. The majority voted for Phil Neal, so he claims the spot as the right back in this historic Liverpool 11. We continue with the center back duo, and here there was no debate. Every AI chose the same player, Alan Hansen. He was the brain of Liverpool's defense throughout the 1980s, a period when the club dominated both England and Europe. He won 8 league titles, 3 European Cups, and 2 FA Cups, but his value went far beyond the trophies. He was the silent leader of one of the most feared defenses in football history. Elegant, intelligent, and with exceptional reading of the game, Hansen didn't just defend, he directed. He played the ball out from the back, organized his teammates, and did it all with incredible class. A born winner and one of the great symbols of Liverpool's golden era. He joins our historic 11. And to partner him, Grok went with Jamie Carragher. With 737 appearances, he's the second player with the most matches in the club's history. His choice makes perfect sense for his commitment, determination, and versatility. He played from 1996 to 2013, earning an impressive list of honors. He might not have the same trophy count as Hansen, but his influence in decisive moments is undeniable. Carragher was the kind of player who never hid. He always gave everything for the team. But Gemini suggested another name, one much more recent, Virgil van Dijk. And honestly, it makes total sense. Van Dijk didn't just transform Liverpool's defense. He changed the mentality of the entire team. Since his arrival in 2018, the club went from being defensively unstable to becoming an absolute fortress. Under his command, Liverpool won the Champions League, the Premier League, and the Club World Cup. His leadership, dominance in the air, and composure when playing out from the back made him, for a time, the best center-back in the world. The rest of the AIs didn't hesitate. They voted for Virgil van Dijk. The Dutchman earns his place in the starting 11, and to complete the defense, DeepSeek chose Andy Robertson. And yes, competition for this spot is fierce, but Robertson's impact has been nothing short of incredible. Since his arrival in 2017, he's become the perfect example of the modern fullback. Tireless, aggressive, and with outstanding quality when it comes to providing assists. He's got an engine that never stops, running up and down the pitch with the same intensity all game long. He was key in winning the Premier League, the Champions League, the FA Cup, the League Cup, and the Club World Cup. In just a few years, Robertson earned his place among the greats, and in fact, Liverpool agreed, giving him its second vote. But Gemini didn't see it that way. His vote went to Alan Kennedy, and ChatGPT backed him up. Kennedy is a true icon of Liverpool's greatest European nights. And while Robertson represents the modern era, Kennedy earns his place through his historic moments and his impact during the club's golden years. He won 5 league titles and 4 European Cups. But what truly makes him unforgettable are his goals. He scored the winner in the 1981 European Cup final against Real Madrid, and also netted the decisive penalty in the 1984 final against Roma. 2 moments forever etched in Liverpool's history. So, the final decision came down to Grok, and his vote went to Andy Robertson. He takes the spot as the left back in this legendary Liverpool. Let's move to the defensive midfielder, and Gemini wasted no time deciding. Its vote went to Graham Souness. And honestly, that's a very tough choice to argue against. Souness had everything you could ask for in a midfielder: technique, vision, and incredible toughness. He played 358 matches and was the true engine of the team that dominated Europe during Liverpool's golden years. He had an imposing presence, knew exactly when to speed up or slow down the tempo, and his passes constantly broke defensive lines. He was pure character and quality at the heart of midfield. But Liverpool picked someone who simply couldn't be left out: Steven Gerrard. And honestly, it's a fair point. Gerrard could play in any midfield position and perform just as brilliantly. However, the rest of the AIs were unanimous: Graham Souness. With that, he secures his spot as the defensive midfielder in this all-time Liverpool 11. For the creative midfielder, this time it was Grok who voted for Steven Gerrard. And honestly, it couldn't have been anyone else. Gerrard is the heart of modern Liverpool and, for many, the greatest creative midfielder in the club's history. Between 1998 and 2015, he played 710 matches, scored 186 goals, and provided 157 assists. Incredible numbers for someone playing in midfield. He won the 2005 Champions League, 2 FA Cups, 3 League Cups, 1 UEFA Cup, and 2 UEFA Super Cups. He was a complete midfielder, always stepping up when Liverpool needed him most. I thought all the AIs would agree. But Lechat surprised us with another name: Xabi Alonso. The mastermind behind the 2005 Istanbul comeback. He had extraordinary vision, those pinpoint long passes that could split any defense, and the kind of tempo control worthy of an orchestra conductor. However, he was the only one who voted differently. The rest agreed, so Steven Gerrard takes the spot as the creative midfielder in this all-time Liverpool 11. Let's move on to the attacking midfielder, and Grok didn't hesitate. His choice was Kenny Dalglish, and how could it be otherwise? We're talking about an absolute legend. Dalglish was the perfect attacking midfielder: intelligent, visionary, and incredibly skilled at breaking defenses. Although he often played as a forward, his most common role at Liverpool was as a second striker, moving between the lines, creating chances, and scoring goals. In 515 appearances, he scored 172 goals and won 3 European Cups, 6 English League titles, 1 FA Cup, 4 League Cups, and 1 UEFA Super Cup. A tactical genius with a subtle touch and an extraordinary reading of the game. Gemini, on the other hand, went with Jan Milby, a player of exquisite technique and outstanding vision. Ideal for that advanced playmaker role. The Danish midfielder was known as the master of the midfield because of his pinpoint passing and powerful shooting. At his peak, Mølby could control the entire tempo of a match by himself, dictating play with remarkable composure. An extraordinary player who could easily earn a place in the starting lineup. In the end, the rest of the AI supported Grok's decision. Kenny Dalglish earns his place in the team as the attacking midfielder. And before revealing the substitutes, let's move on to the attack. On the right wing, Grok's choice was Ian Callaghan. He holds the record for the most appearances in Liverpool's history with 857 matches, and he's a perfect pick for the right flank. He won 3 European Cups and 5 English League titles, among many other honors. His tireless work in both attack and defense, along with his ability to provide key assists, made him essential during Liverpool's transition from the Shankly era to the Paisley dynasty. But the truth is, no other AI agreed with that choice. The most voted player was Mohamed Salah, and for good reason. Records, goals, and unmatched consistency. He's won multiple Premier League Golden Boots, scored in the 2019 Champions League final, and set historic European records for the club. His diagonal runs, clinical finishing, and ability to create danger out of nothing turned Liverpool into an attacking powerhouse. Beyond the stats, Salah sustained Klopp's Liverpool at its competitive peak for years. Without a doubt, the most lethal right winger in the club's history. And on the left wing, the story was quite different. On one side, Grok voted for Billy Liddell, claiming he's the greatest left winger in the club's history. Liddell played 534 matches and scored 228 goals. An incredible tally for a winger. Although John Barnes is a strong contender, what truly stands out about Liddell is the impact he had during a difficult era, when he practically carried the team on his shoulders. But Luchat went in another direction and chose the very man just mentioned, John Barnes. He's shown throughout the 1980s and 1990s with his blistering pace, dribbling skills, and the ability to change a match on his own. His goal against Queen's Park Rangers in 1987, considered one of the best in the club's history, perfectly sums up his talent. Barnes wasn't just a brilliant player, he was also a leader and an inspiration for the generations that followed. DeepSeek, however, surprised us with a third name. Sadio Mane. According to this AI, forming an attacking trio with Salah and Mane is a luxury that very few teams in football history could afford. Mane was the spark that ignited the Jürgen Klopp era. He won the same trophies as Salah and was just as decisive. DeepSeek acknowledged Barnes' creative genius, but argued that Mane's lethal finishing, intensity, and competitive impact in the modern era give him a slight edge. Only ChatGPT and Gemini were left to vote, and both agreed. They chose John Barnes. So, in a split decision, he takes the spot as the left winger in this all-time Liverpool 11. And before moving on to the substitutes, it's time to decide on the center forward. For Gemini, there was no hesitation. Ian Rush. Liverpool's all-time top scorer with 346 goals in 660 appearances. A true goal machine. He won 3 European Cups, 5 English League titles, 3 FA Cups, 5 League Cups, and 1 UEFA Super Cup. Rush was the ultimate penalty box predator. Lethal, opportunistic, and with an unmatched killer instinct. His partnership with Kenny Dalglish was one of the most feared in European football, and his goals in finals are a fundamental part of the club's legend. He wasn't just a scorer, he was a winner. Could anyone argue against that choice? None of the AIs dared to. Ian Rush joins the all-time Liverpool 11. We wrap things up with the substitutes. As backup goalkeeper, the choice was Bruce Grobbelaar. His impact during Liverpool's golden 1980s era was enormous. For the defenders, the AIs agreed on Jamie Carragher, a true symbol of loyalty with over 700 appearances. And alongside him, the most voted was Sami Hyypiä, a key figure in the 2005 Champions League run. In midfield, the names that stood out were Xabi Alonso, who just missed the starting lineup, and John Mølby. And up front, the first name mentioned was Luis Suarez, with 82 goals in 133 matches and a massive influence during Liverpool's near Premier League triumph in 2014. To finish, the last substitute chosen was Robbie Fowler. So, what do you think of this 11? Leave your thoughts in the comments, give the video a like, and I'll see you in the next one with More Than Football.